Welcome to Adobe Illustrator Live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Terry White, and it is my pleasure to be streaming to you live here today as we talk about vector illustration. And, of course, the main topic is how to create or design and submit those vectors to Adobe Stock. So welcome everyone. Seeing a bunch of you jump into the room already, which is great. The number is climbing, climbing, climbing. So great to have you all here for such a fun topic. Now, while we're waiting for a couple more people to get into the room, I can go on and tell you just a little bit about the process. We're going to talk about the Illustrator part, of course, and show you that live. But what I won't get a chance to do is go through the entire how to set up your stock account, at least in this video. I've done other videos that are already available on my YouTube, which is terrywhite.tv, and I believe on the stock Facebook page as well. But if you just head over to contributor.stock.adobe.com, that will get you everything you need to do. And basically, just to answer a couple questions right off the bat, you don't have to be an Adobe Creative Cloud member to contribute to stock. You don't have to be a photographer. You don't have to be someone who's been doing it for 20 years. Anyone can sign up with their Adobe ID and start submitting today. So there are very few requirements. You'll need to provide a photocopy or a scan of your ID, just to prove that you're over 18 years old. And if you're coming from a different country, you may or may not be able to do this because it just depends on if it's available in your country. But here in the US, which is what I'll be basing this on today, it's pretty simple to get started. And you can submit your first files today and just keep going from there. Also, what this is not, I also make one good point of what this is not. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Anyone that's been doing stock for a while will tell you that it's more about consistency, never stopping. In other words, continuing to upload files on a regular basis, continuing to upload good content. It's about keywording that content so that it can be easily found. People can't buy what they can't find. And of course, it's not about one big sell. It's about hundreds, if not thousands of little sales over the course of months or years. That's really where this is at. All right, so I see a bunch of people that have already jumped in. Hello, Alan. Hello, Karen. Hello, Anna. Hello, Judith, Victoria, and a few others. I'm having a hard time pronouncing your name, so I'm not even going to try, but welcome, everyone. I don't want to butcher your name. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive right in so you guys can take a look at what we're going to do today. So I'm going to switch over to my computer so you guys can see. I've got Adobe Illustrator CC open in the background with no document open. We're going to create that document from scratch. Good. Sarah's asking what payment programs are used. If you're referring to how you'll get paid, you're being paid in the U.S. via PayPal, and there's one other service for people that are outside the U.S., but it's a PayPal thing. And you basically cash out when your anytime when your commissions have reached $50 or more. So let's say you sold, 20 files and you reach $50. You can cash out then, or you just keep letting it build until you're ready to cash out, or you can cash out every time it hits $50. So it's a $50 minimum threshold. Then you can cash out anytime after that as often as you want. All right. And hello, Sydney, Australia, Veronica, and Kareem, and everyone else. All right, so let's get going. So I've got my Illustrator open. Let's go ahead and create this new document from scratch. And this is the important part of the lesson, because you would think with vectors that it's resolution independent. So why should it matter what size document I create? But unfortunately for stock, it does. The canvas has to be a minimum size in order for it to be accepted. And unfortunately, I'm not crazy about the description even when you go to the stock page, because it measures it in megapixels, and we don't measure Illustrator files by megapixels. But here, let me decipher it. If you were, matter of fact, I'll pop over and show you. If you were to look at the upload page and you were to look at for vectors, AI, and EPS files, it'll tell you that they must be AI and EPS, and it'll tell you that the minimum resolution should be 15 MP. What? Oh, that's for photos. What's that got to do with Illustrator? And the maximum is 68 MP, and the file size is, a maximum of 45 megabytes, which that would be a huge Illustrator file. But anyway, let me explain what that means. It means that if you were to break that down, your canvas needs to be minimum 5,000 by 3,000 pixels, or 3,000 by 5,000 pixels. But a minimum of that if you add 5 or multiply 5,000 by 3,000, that would be 15, which would get you your 15 megapixels. So that's the minimum size. So I'm going to do a 5,000 by 3,000, and I'm going to go ahead and click Create. Now that I've created, I've got my empty canvas, and I can go ahead and do whatever I want on that canvas. Now, I'm not, people have known me for years. I'm not an illustrator. I don't really do a lot of drawing. I like to cheat and use Illustrator for the power that Illustrator has to do the things that Illustrator can do so that I don't have to draw whenever I don't have to. So, for example, I'm going to switch over to a library, and I'm going to bring in a photo for a moment. Let's bring this photo in, and let's go ahead and scale it up, and let's put it right there. Okay, so that is straight up a photo, and that's not what I want. I don't want a photo. I want this to all be vector. Well, the good news is, first and foremost, is that this can be vector. Illustrator has an image trace feature built right in. So if I were to go up to the top here, I don't have to, it's already seen it. It already saw that this is an image, and that I can either get to image trace from the control panel up here or from the brand new properties panel. There's an image trace button there as well. But the one thing I like about it up here is that I can go ahead and choose right off the bat which preset to use. I could just use the default, but I'm going to go ahead and say that I want this to be 16 colors. In other words, thinking red, white, and blue, how many colors do you need? But 16 will give me the various different shades of those colors. So let's go ahead and just, and it's going to tell me it's going to take a while to do this. Don't need to show me that again. It will take a few minutes. This will, of course, all depend on your speed of your computer too. So this will go pretty quick on my new computer. But this will convert this photo into a vector version of it. And then I can pick away the pieces of it that I don't need. All right, so it's just about done, and voila. All right, now it's vector. That's it. I got a vector file here. So let's do a couple things. First of all, I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to transform it and reflect it and preview it so I can see it. And it's doing this. I don't know why it's doing this. Never did this before, but it's showing, it's re-rendering it. And we'll let it re-render, like I have a choice. Curve fitting. Okay, re-render done. All right, and we'll click OK, and that's all I wanted was to flip the flag the other way. So now you could have done it first with the photo. That would have probably been faster. Now I'm going to click the expand button on this tracing result, because what that will do is let me get to all the little paths, the little curves, the little points. And I can use my direct selection tool and, for example, pick away the pieces of it that I don't need. I'm just simply clicking on these pieces and hitting delete and getting rid of the excess sky, because I don't need the sky. I just want the flag. Now, unfortunately, you may miss pieces doing it this way. So I'm going to show you a way to potentially get all the pieces that you didn't see or you might have missed. But I'm going after the big stuff first, the low-hanging fruit. The things that are easy to click on and delete, I'll just get rid of those. And then I'll show you how to get all the little pieces that you may not even see that could be left over. Because we want this to be clean as possible as well. And therefore, getting rid of all these excess pieces will help. Now, like I said, I left some pieces here on purpose. I'm going to go to the lasso tool. That's right. Illustrator has a lasso tool. Oop, didn't mean to go that high. And we can just go around all the areas where, there could be stuff, and it'll select it for me, and then I can delete it all at once. Same thing down here under the flag, stuff that I might have missed, stuff that I might not even see, little pieces all around here. I can hit delete. And if I hit Command A, that'll also expose any extra points or pieces that I, again, may not see. There's one there, and I think there's one there. I'm holding down the Shift key so I can get them all at once, and delete. Okay, that was it. Now I've got my vector flag and my vector flag pole, and I can go ahead and put those in place. Ooh, okay, I was going to say I was going to need to scale that down. So pretty cool. A nice way to turn a photo into vectors. That way you get, you're not dealing with a photo anymore. It's not raster, it's resolution independent. This can be scaled any size you want. And you've taken a photo that I didn't have to draw a flag. If you already know how to draw a flag, great, draw your flag. All right, so with that said, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put our text in. So I'm just gonna grab my type tool, I'm just gonna click. It's gonna make a very small word, sample word. I'm gonna hold down my command key on Mac PC, that would be the control key. Hold down my shift as well, I'm just gonna scale this up. All right, we're gonna make this a Veterans Day thing to start off the bat. Right off the bat, and let's go ahead and just make that bigger, and now we can see it better, and we can go ahead and scale that up. Get that nice and big. Okay, so next thing, before I get too carried away with this, I want to change the font. I can do that, again, in the Properties panel or in the Control panel at the top. So, for example, there's a font that I want to use. Actually, let's say I didn't know which font I want to use. I want to show you just this real quick tip. You could go in, and let's say I'm just looking for a heavy font, because I am. And that will show me all the heavies I have, and I can scroll through them or hover over them to see which ones I want. So I want F for heavy. That'll give me the one I need. I'll go ahead and pull that back over, scale it down a bit. And I'm just going to duplicate this word just so I don't have to do that over again. Hold down my Option or a PC Alt and Shift key. And that way I can just go ahead and scale or duplicate that by dragging it. Okay, so now I'll just go ahead and hit Day, Veterans Day, great. We got that, and I'm going to do one more text thing. Let's go ahead and just click, and we're going to type in, hold on, honoring all who. I think I spelled that wrong because I can't see it, but let's see. Honoring all who served. Oh, I got it right. Okay. So, going to do a couple things with this. We're going to, first of all, we're going to right justify it. So, Command Shift R to right justify that. And I'm also going to decrease the leading between them. So, I'm holding down my Option key or Alt key on PC as I hit my up arrow key to shift that up a little bit, make that a little bit tighter. All right, so now that I've got that, we're going to put that over here. And of course, we're going to scale that to be nice and big. All right, so now you're starting to get the feel for this. We're making a Veterans Day kind of graphic design image that people could buy and use for their Veterans Day messages. Now, I'll get into the whole timing thing because Veterans Day is a ways off. We just did Veterans Day back in November. So why am I doing a Veterans Day now here in January? Because you can never be too early. You can easily be too late, but you can never be too early for any one of these. So, okay, so now that we got this in place, let's go ahead and get some color in here. We can just simply select that. And for example, I could just make that red. I could make this one blue. I could keep that one black or make that one whatever color I want. And away I'd go. Next thing I want to do is just want to, those should be lined up. Good. All right, so if that's all I wanted, I'm good to go. I could save this, and let me go ahead and do that now. I'll do a save as. I'm going to make this one Veterans Day Live. We'll call it live so I know which one's which. And just saving it as a standard Illustrator AI file, current version. All right, next thing I want to do is I want to save this again. So I'm going to do a save as one more time. And you might have guessed where this is going to go next. Memorial Day. Why not? Why live with just one thing? So that way we got a Memorial Day one now, and all we have to do is just change the word to Memorial. All right, and maybe make it a little smaller. Or here, we'll do it this way. Let's just make it smaller as a graphic. There we go. And we got our Memorial Day save. We'll hit save. And let's do a save as one more time. And we'll make this one Independence Day. And the only difference here, besides changing the word to independence, I'll get rid of that. We'll go ahead and select that. Independence. That's going to need to be a little smaller. So we'll grab both of these maybe and scale them down together. There we go. And you might move them around. You might do something like that. There's nothing saying that you can't change the design of it as you go to something that may fit a little bit better. Maybe move that up. And maybe not put that under there. Maybe put that down here somewhere. But you can make this, of course, look any way you want. All right, so we'll save that one. Hit save, and then we'll open up all three. Let's open up the other two. Let's open up Memorial Day, and let's open up Veterans Day. All right, so I've got all three open, and what you want to do at this point is this is where you want to, before you get ready to send it, you're right. I agree with you, Cheryl, so we will make that change. So Veterans Day, honoring all who served, and for Memorial Day, we'll honor all remembers who died in service. You're right. You're absolutely right. But before we do that, and this is part of that checking, just to make sure it says what you want it to say, make sure it's spelled right, make sure it's the right font, because you're going to do something that will make it so you won't be easily able to change the type without redoing it. So what we're going to do is, once we're happy with it, the way for what it says in the right font, we're going to go ahead and go to our type menu and create outlines, because what we want to do there is make it so whoever downloaded this or used it wouldn't need this font to be able to use this file. So we're creating outlines of all of this, so these become just vectors and not the actual text or words anymore. All right, it still looks like the word, but it's not. So we'll save that one. We'll go to Memorial Day and honoring, let's say honoring those who paid the ultimate price or no, sacrificed, or let's see, what'd you say? I like the way you said it. Honoring and remembers those who died in service, honoring those who, you know what? So I don't screw that up. We're just going to leave that off because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay, so anyway, we'll just go ahead. Because in my mind, I'm like, live stream, I can't think of what I really want that to say. So we'll just leave it off for now. All right, so we'll create outlines. We'll create outlines of this. And save that one. And last but not least, Independence Day, same thing. We'll create our outlines, type, create outlines, and that way we've got our non-typed type, our non-fonts that we have to worry about, because now this is font independent. Okay, so next thing we want to do is, of course, save each one of these one last time to make sure. And again, of course, if you want to add a message to yours, you can. And we'll add one last one. Okay, great. And now we'll just close them all because we're done. Next, we'll head over to the website, contributor.stock.adobe.com. We made that nice and short and simple, so you'll remember it, contributor.stock.adobe.com. And what you can do now is drag those files over that you want to upload. So let me go find them. They're here in my Creative Cloud Files folder under Adobe Live. And if I do it by date, it'll be the top 4, or top 3, I should say. And we just go ahead and drag those in. And it's uploading those 3 files as vectors. And hopefully, if all honoring those who served. Did I not say served okay? Did I keep a version of the editable text? I normally would. I would save it in a library with the editable version. So Thomas, yeah, you would keep a version, edit, just in case. So you could do a save, keeping the edited version, a save as with the one that's maybe, and add on the word outline so you know that that one's outlined. You would absolutely want to have all 3. I'm sorry, each version, one that you can go back and change if you needed to. No watermark. You don't put watermarks on your files. No one would buy them that way. So the files are automatically watermarked as Adobe Stock. Keep in mind, you're submitting your files to be sold by a company. So they're handling all the pricing, watermarking, protection, and all that. That's not your job. Your job is to create the content. Okay, so now we've uploaded these 3. And now at this point, it's also used Adobe Sensei to automatically keyword them. So we have to do three things. We have to give them titles. We have to check the keywords to make sure they're what we want them to say. And then we have to answer a question as to whether or not they contain any people that would need model or property releases, which they don't. All right, so let's look at this first one, Veterans Day. So I could say, I can give this as a title as Happy Veterans Day. Your title is not as nearly as important as your keywords. So it automatically generated 22 keywords. So let's go see what they are. Flag, USA, America, or American, white, America, red, isolated, US, blue, symbol, patriotism, striped, banner, waving, national, patriotic. And all of these are good, except for fashion. All of these are good. It's missing the ones I really need. For example, it's missing veterans. So I'll change the one I don't need to the one that I do need. If I didn't need it and I didn't have anything to change it to, I could just delete it. Color, I don't know, color is a really valuable word in this case, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete the word color. Let's see, did we get everything else? Patriotism, soldier, we might want to put in there. Soldier, armed forces. We already got veterans. The keywording part, again, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this because we're already out of time for the stream, but you would continue to think down the line of what would people be looking for, and hopefully they would find my file if they're looking for that thing. So all the things we're putting in are legitimate for this file. What you don't want to do is keyword spam. In other words, I don't want to put beach or sunglasses or something like that on this file because maybe I think, summertime, people might be looking for pictures of beaches and hey, they'll see mine. All that's going to do is frustrate a buyer to not buy your file. And the more people that find your file based on erroneous keywords but don't buy it, your file continues to move down in rank. So it doesn't help you by putting in keywords that have nothing to do with your file. It actually hurts you in the long run. Someone said USA. Was that one not in here? Let's definitely put that one in there, USA. And now the only other thing, once you put in your keywords, how many can you put in? You need a minimum of 5. You could put in up to 50. And your first 5 are your most important. So I would definitely move veterans up to the top. Do I need veterans? Now, there's another question. Is veterans okay or do you need Veterans Day? I would go ahead and put in both words. Because if someone's searching for Veterans Day, I want them to find this file because that's exactly what it's talking about. Should I put in veterans separately after that? That won't hurt you because it is dealing with both. All right, so we got Veterans Day, flag, USA. Oh, USA was already there. So someone said USA. I thought it was already there. I'm going to delete my second copy of it. We'll do patriotism. We'll move that up. That's definitely more important than white. Veterans Day, flag, USA, American patriotism. Okay, and again, it's up to you to decide which ones you think are the most important ones. I think I would put American flag up instead of flag. Let's move that one down. All right. Okay, so that's that one file. So now you go to the next one. You got to do the same thing. So Independence Day. Same kind of thing. Oh, and by the way, let me go back to that first one. I didn't answer that last question. Is there a recognizable person or property? No. So once I hit no, it turned green, meaning that one's ready to submit. All right, next one, same thing, no recognizable person. I gave it a title. Let's check the keywords. And this one's Independence Day. So it's not about clothes. Day. I definitely shoot that one up to the top. American flag, isolated symbol, sock. I don't know why there's a sock there, but okay, whatever. 4th of July. Even though it doesn't say that, that is what it's about. It really has nothing to do with a woman or a man in this case. Patriotism, yes. Clothing has nothing to do with clothing. Get rid of that one. Stars, waving, stamp, national. And did we get the USA one? The USA one's in there. So we'd probably shoot 4th of July up to the second one maybe. Independence Day, flag, American, maybe get that one up in the third one. And America flag, get that one up to be number 4. And USA maybe number 5. All right, last but not least, Memorial Day. And we've got no recognizable people or person or property in there. And of course, we'll just do the same kind of thing. Make sure it says Memorial Day. That's important. And shoot that one up to the top. That's definitely in the top 5. American flag. We could do things like sacrificed. Did I spell sacrificed right? Doesn't look right. Nope, it's not right. Sacrifice, there we go. Troops. And no one will spell check this for you. So if you type in the wrong keyword, it just means your file will never be found. Sacrifice, troops, soldiers. Yeah. Might help to spell soldiers right. There we go. And I like patriotic. Let's just get that one up there too. And troops. Did I get that one? Yep. Let's shoot that one up there. Move that one down. And last but not least, since it does show an American flag. Oh, we got the American flag up there already. Okay. So last but not least, let's do not anything to do with clothing. Sacrificed. You can put died. I mean, all of those things are irrelevant. So, for example, died. All right. Okay. So now, again, we could keep going with this, but you get the idea. Make your keywords relevant. Keep going. And away you go from there. So now, once we've done this, I got 3 green check marks, which means they've met the minimum criteria. They have a title. They have, oh, by the way, four minimum criteria. And I see one of them's wrong already. Category. This has nothing to do with travel. So it defaulted to travel because that's what it thought it should be. This could be a graphic resource. It could be, it's not a landscape. I would say of all these categories, I would probably put this under, I'd put this under graphic resource. All right, so let's check the other ones. That one already had graphic resources, and this one. So the last one was just wrong. Okay, so category, title, keywords. Does it contain a recognizable person or property? If it does, you'll need to submit a model release, which you can get from Adobe Stock. It does not, so these 3 files are ready to submit. So when I submit them, they will go into an approval queue. So right now they're saying in review. So that means that there will be a person, a moderator that looks at these, make sure they're legit. And if they're legit and meet the criteria, minimum quality, so forth and so on, they're not duplicates of something else, they're not missing a model release or property release, they're checking for all those things, then they will approve them anywhere within 1 to 7 days. So by tomorrow or a week at the latest. And then they will be part of my ever-growing library of stock content for sale. Whew, we did it. So, could I go back and continue working on those designs? Absolutely. Could I maybe, instead of making the word take up the right side, make like the word smaller, so leaving copy space so they can put their own messages? Sure. Could I make vertical versions? Absolutely. Can I stylize them and add effects? Sure. Could I add backgrounds? You can do whatever you want. That's the whole purpose of this this stream, is to just whet your appetite for the kinds of things that you could be submitting to Adobe Stock. Because normally, when I show this, I'm always showing it from a photographer standpoint, taking photos or maybe shooting video. But graphic design is a huge part of stock. And if you're ever wondering what's there already, or you want some inspiration, or not to create the same thing that's already there, you can always go to stock.adobe.com and search for whatever it is you're looking for. So, or what you're looking to create, I should say. Veterans Day. That's the first one we did. And I can see all the cool things that come up. And if I limit it to just vectors, or I shouldn't say illustrations, I should say vectors. If I limit it to just vectors, then I will see the kinds of vectors that people have uploaded. So all kinds of cool things, and hopefully mine will be a part of this. And you can even sort this, I believe, based on, never mind. I was going to say something, but never mind. Okay, so if you're looking for things to try, go check out Adobe Stock, stock.adobe.com. If you're looking to be a contributor, go to contributor.stock.adobe.com. Create your account. It's free to do. Doesn't cost you anything. And you could be making money off your first submissions as soon as you get them up there. All right. With that said, I'm not seeing any urgent questions in the chat, so I'm going to bid you all a fair adieu, but we're going to say one more thing first, that if you are interested in vector illustration, there's a 3-day stream going on right now at Adobe Live. So behance.net/live, and you will be able to watch artists doing vector illustrations for the next couple of hours. Today's the last day. It's already Thursday. Wow. Can we upload the same file to other sites? Absolutely. This is not an exclusive, so you can create a file and upload it to as many houses as you want. If you do different versions of the file, say fireworks graphic added, do we upload those as separate submissions? Yeah, because it's one file. They're only going to look at it. They're not going to turn layers on or off or anything like that. So it is one submission per thing. $79 for an image. I'm poor, drink beer. Well, $79 is not the price you would pay for just a regular image. Now, actually, the images at Adobe Stock are, without a subscription, are $10. And of course, your percentage or commission of that $10, if it sells for that, is 33%. Your commission is 33% on photos and illustrations anyway, no matter what it sells for. All right. I see the questions coming in. Just make sure I get them all before we head out. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. All right. Holiday, yep, that's another great keyword. Military, duh, that was another good keyword. Now, let's say I missed out. Like military, I really want military to be the keyword that on a couple of those. I can either do one of two things. I can delete the file before it even gets approved and re-upload it and add the missing keywords that I forgot, or wait till it's approved, because you can always add more keywords after the fact. So it's up to you. If you want to say, oh my God, it's so important, I don't want to forget, delete it now and just re-upload it, because you can go back to your queue and just delete the ones you want to delete, and re-upload them with the missing keywords, or you can just wait till it's approved and add them after the fact. All right. You did. I think your version is better. Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. And cheers. And go head over to behance.net/live if you want to learn more and watch more people doing more things with vectors. Bye, everybody.